we're working in watercolor. Now, where we drew the picture on and left the black surface black and painted everything else. So you were in fact doing what we call negative painting. You were painting the back to create the front. So in this case, we're going to paint the back again, because that's the lightest part of the picture. Because when you're working with watercolor, you need to reserve the light. So you start with your lighter colors and introduce darker ones as you are progressing, which is a bit different from the other way around. Okay, that's a daft say. Yeah, it's different from the other way around. Gosh, you know, that's really intelligent, isn't it? Right, now this is called a hake, and I'm using it because it's got a nice big spread. What I'm going to do is wet the whole paper. So that I'm not going to soak it, I'm going to wet it. There is a technique where you soak it, but we're not doing that today. So I'm just hoping that it doesn't dry out before I finish the painting. You never know, right? Pardon? This is Bockingford, which is the standard, watercolor paper. It's wood base, and it's mass produced, so it's mechanically produced, if you like. I'm just going to put that there. Probably, yes. Yeah. Get down. Go on, lie down. That's because I went to the edge. If I hadn't gone to the edge, the edges would have held it down. Right, so I'm going to start. What am I going to start with? Right, if I'm going to start where I think the horizon might be. Now, I can either decide to do a big sky and a little bit of stuff down here, or I can decide to put the distance on the ground and shorten the sky. I can't remember what I did last time, so I'll just make a decision. Okay, so I'm going to start with lemon yellow. Yes, it's in the way, actually, Bend it over. Right, so if I decide to do big sky this time, so I'm going to put the sky down here. Now, bear in mind that watercolor dries lighter, so don't panic, you know. That's what you're trying to do. Now, I need to introduce a darker color now. So if I mix a bit of ochre in with my lemon, I'm putting that on both sides because the sky is reflected around the horizon. Okay, so I'm just enjoying myself at the moment. Okay, so if I take a bit more. So this is just the base layer. What is happening is that it's moving on the paper. I'm trying not to go over the bit I've just put down. I'm failing miserably, but that's what I'm trying to do. Right. I think it needs to be darker up there, so I'll put a bit more painting. And I need to do the bottom while I've got it here. It's moving because my head's butting it. Right, now, I'm not too worried about the fact that it's, you know, it's mix and match there. Okay, so if I now see how much paint I can get on this brush. I'm going to strengthen the sky at the top here. I'm trying not to put more water on the surface. At this stage, I'm just trying to create the background of my picture. Okay. Now I want to put in some clouds this time, so I'm feeling that. And I'm going to put in some purple if I can find it. There it is. Sorry. That's a purple. Yeah. I'm putting in clouds. They'll meld and blend and move. You know, it moves as you're looking at it. And quite a bit of this. If I take some of the purple, mix it with the ecru, not the ecru, ochre. I'm in the wrong genre. I'll try it there, then that's better. Right. So pick up some of the deeper purple. Oops, that was a blue. Never mind, eh? You can go over it, you know. Don't forget it dries lighter, so keep telling myself it dries lighter. Don't panic, don't panic. It's whether you want it to dry lighter or not. And some of that. Now, as the I can think about what I want to do now. Should have been thinking before, but you know. Right, okay. When the clouds come towards the horizon, they get smaller and flatter. So I'm just going to drift in a few. By varying the pressure I put on the page. Oh, this is drying out over here. I'll have that. How much of this? Right. Right. We'll be going onto the horizon soon. It's making some lovely, lovely shapes. I'm really excited about this. I don't know if you can see from where you are how that is, you know, spreading down. Right, now we want to reflect that in the water. If the horizon is somewhere here, where this really bright color is, then these colors will be reflected down here. So I can put in the same shapes, more or less. Now, I need to put more paint with it. Because if you look here, it's the yellow here is running. So that means that the paint I'm putting on is too wet and it's pushing the undercolor away. So if you're doing this, the second lot of paint you put into the wash has to be thicker than the one that you're using, to do the wash. I don't mind it doing that. You could turn it into something. It's just a play, sort of. Why don't you do for this? Yes, paint flat for this because no idea what's going to happen. You see, that's dried practically. So it's going to be interesting too. So you've got to keep going. If you give up halfway through, one of the things you can do about this is do half a dozen. Choose the one that's the best one. Yeah, one after the other. That would please you. So it's just making shapes and you just let it happen. So. It's quite heavy purpley clouds there. So maybe they ought to be. Or you can put those in. Weird going on over here. You can put those in afterwards. Yeah, I can put it in when it's dry, but it's easier to do this spreading technique while it's wet. What you do now is just leave it. Just let it do its thing. When it's dry, you can either take your picture and go straight in with black paint and paint it, or if you're a bit nervous about that, you can draw your picture first on here so that you know precisely where you're going to put the black paint. But this has to be absolutely bone dry before you do the next. Okay, before you do the next thing. Okay. So if you get that far and yes, you don't want to be sitting around waiting for it to dry. So why not paint another picture? So what you could do then is to paint one of your sketches. Paint on watercolor paper one of your sketches without drawing, just paint it. From what you remember the colors were and what you, just as an experience. So this is a fairly fast thing to do. You put on your colors as and how you want them, or even how you think they'll look all right, or give it a whirl, see what you can make. And then when it's bone dry, we put the silhouette on it. But it's not straight paint it black because the light is catching the gunnels of the boat and it's catching some of the little roofs and it's catching the sand differently and the water differently. You've got all those things to think about when you're putting